The raid. Europa colony was quiet at dusk. Crimson light from Jupiter's looming body bled across the ice fields as children laughed inside their biodomes and solar collectors hummed faintly atop silver rooftops. For the past 6 years, Colony Aegis thrived, a human frontier outpost known for peace, trade, and stubborn survival. Captain Linya Cole, hair buzz short and uniform dusty from a long patrol, walked through the settlement square with her younger sister Marin. They talked about mundane things, hydroponic upgrades, Marin's upcoming marriage, and how Linya should stop pretending she'd retired from combat. Then the sky cracked open. Without warning, a triangular vessel broke orbit and roared down like a screaming god. Anti-air defenses flickered and failed. Someone had sabotaged the grid. Moments later, dropships slammed into the colony perimeter, unfolding like metallic insects. They poured out, Dravari mercenaries, scaled and tall, each armed with plasma carbines and stun cuffs. No demands, no negotiation, just carnage. Linya had her sidearm holstered. She drew and fired without hesitation, downing the first alien before her brain fully processed what was happening. Marin, run! But Marin didn't run fast enough. 2 Dravari clamped her in restraints and dragged her away with a dozen other women, screaming, kicking, biting. Linya lunged, but was tackled from behind, slammed to the frozen ground. Her weapon skittered away. A boot crushed her spine, pinning her helpless. She saw her sister's terrified eyes vanish into the belly of a black ship, and then they were gone. As quickly as it began, the attack ended. Silence fell over the smoldering ruins of Colony Aegis. Over 40 people dead, 37 women missing. Among the wreckage, a single injured Dravari mercenary squirmed, bleeding from his shoulder. The only one left behind. Whether on purpose or by accident, it didn't matter. Linya, bruised but walking, stood over him with rage burning in her blood. The mercenary snarled something in his guttural dialect. She knelt beside him, gripped his faceplate, and forced him to look at her. "You think we're just prey?" She whispered. "You think you can take our women and vanish?" Her hand moved to her sidearm, pressing the muzzle to his forehead. "Congratulations," she hissed. "You just signed your death warrant." Later that night, the emergency beacon reached Earth. Colonial Command confirmed the incident. Drones swept the crater terrain, logging every body and tracking residual warp signatures from the Dravari fleet. The message relayed to human representatives at the Galactic Council. Their response: measured concern, denouncements, promises of inquiry. But Linya didn't wait for diplomacy. In her quarters, she stared at the names on the casualty list. Her fingers hovered over her military badge, her medals, her past. She opened a private channel. Encryption level, Black Omega. Linya Cole requesting activation of Autonomous Vengeance Clause, Terran Codex Entry 7. A synthetic voice replied. Clause 7 has not been invoked in over 92 years. Confirm your authority. I confirm, she said, and I'll bring hell with me. The response. The council chambers glittered above the orbit of OS Stelian Prime, the so-called capital of galactic peace. Here, dozens of species sat in ascending tiers, their delegates posturing beneath marble statues of unity, tolerance, and diplomacy. Humanity's representative, Ambassador Keller, stood rigid, his voice a razor. 37 Terran women abducted. Civilian non-combatants. Europa colony Aegis now a ruin. This is an act of war. The Zalari High Seer blinked lazily. The Dravari Syndicate is not a recognized state. They are mercenaries, private actors, unaffiliated. Keller growled. They had warships, council-restricted weapons, cloaking drives built by Tezcari engineers. Someone's backing them. The seer raised a hand. Then we shall open an investigation. In time, humanity had heard those words before. During the Luton genocide, during the Venari piracy crisis. Investigations. Panels. Nothing. Back on Earth, Linya Cole watched the broadcast with icy eyes. She stood in the old barracks of Terran Force Recon Black Unit 9, deep beneath the Andes Mountains. With her stood 4 people, all wearing the same expression. Dax Bruiser Patel, demolitions expert, broad as a freight unit. Mira Zhao, ex-cyber warfare operative turned pacifist teacher. Sergeant Ethan Vero, her former XO, still loyal, still lethal. NVX-19, a decommissioned AI war droid, reactivated for consulting. They weren't just soldiers. They were survivors of battles the galaxy pretended never happened. Linya turned to them. I asked you here because the Council won't do a damn thing. But we can. I'm invoking Clause 7. Vero raised a brow. You're serious? Vengeance protocol. Autonomous justice. One squad. One mission. Unshackled. Zhao hesitated. This isn't like before, Lin. We're not military anymore. No, Linya replied. Now we're human. That night, they formed Task Force Fury, Black Ops off the books, built for one purpose: track, hunt, and annihilate the Dravari Syndicate and whoever funds them. Meanwhile, deep space. On a forgotten moon called Velherin, the Dravari captain Kelzair reported to his superior through a secure holofeed. The women have been processed. 10 have survived the experiments. The others did not. From the other end, a veiled figure nodded. Their voice synthetic and calm. Good. Our hybridization trials continue. Humanity is surprisingly adaptable. Kelzair dared to chuckle. They're weak. Primitive. I say we raid another colony. Perhaps Ganymede. Then the holofeed buzzed with static. A shadow loomed behind Kelzair, tall, armored, glowing red eyes. He turned just in time to see a fist smash through the console and into his chest. A robotic voice whispered, "Message from Earth." Then silence. Back on Earth, Linya stood in a warehouse in orbit over Mars. She looked over crates marked with Terran military sigils. Prototype weapons, experimental stealth suits, fusion blades. Vero approached, holding a plasma-coated rifle. We're not going quiet, are we? No, Linya said, but we're going in hard. Each operative branded their gear with a name, the name of one of the kidnapped women. No flags, no treaties, just the weight of humanity's wrath on their backs. Linya walked to a nearby terminal, composed a single transmission, and broadcast it on open band frequencies across all sectors. To the Dravari Syndicate and their unknown allies. You took our sisters, our daughters, our people. Congratulations. You just signed your death warrant, the hunt. The galaxy had forgotten what it meant to fear humans. That changed system by system. The first strike came in the Corval Belt, a known smuggler haven. Under the shadow of shattered moons, a Dravari cargo frigate was boarded mid-transit. They never saw the drop pods until it was too late. Linya Cole and Task Force Fury moved like a phantom. Zero-G, breaching drills, silent weaponry, coordinated strikes. In 17 seconds, every crew member was neutralized. They found the remains of 5 human women, experimented upon, partially cybernetized, their bodies discarded like failed prototypes. Zhao shed silent tears. Patel blew the entire freighter into its own cargo hold with a 10-kilo pulse charge. No survivors. They left a calling card burned into the hull. We do not forget. Over the following weeks, Task Force Fury waged war in the shadows. In Delta Harix, they obliterated a Dravari munitions facility, rigging the moon's crust to fracture in a controlled implosion. In Cernova, they hijacked a slave convoy and freed hundreds of captives, not just humans, but dozens of species long ignored by the Council. In Orbital Node 17, Zhao hacked into the Dravari private network, exposing a string of encrypted financial trails. The funding, they discovered, didn't come from mercs or pirates. It came from the Vernaxian royal bloodline, a powerful noble family with deep council ties. The Vernaxians have been running human experimentation programs in secret, seeking to create hybrid soldiers, biologically human, but enhanced with alien durability and mind-link obedience. Slavery disguised as science. Vero stared at the files, fury burning in his eyes. They're trying to make us weapons. Linya said nothing for a moment. Then they forgot. We already are. Across the galaxy, whispers spread. Pirate factions began refusing contracts on human targets. Mercenaries went dark. Former enemies of Earth sent cautious peace feelers. Because when the humans came now, they didn't negotiate. They erased. Then came the lead they'd been waiting for. An informant on Jexery Station, a decrepit orbital city ruled by thieves, contacted Zhao. The tip: the remaining 22 surviving women were being held at a hidden Vornaxian facility orbiting gas giant Theta 9, disguised as a medical research center. Linya stared at the coordinates in silence. Is it real? Vero asked. The answer came from VX-19, voice robotic but iron certain. Probability of false lead, 2.7%. Probability of slaughter if we wait, 100%. That was enough. Before departure, the team made one final stop. The graveyard world of Caldrex Prime, a Terran black site. There, under red-lit sky, lay the Forge, a dormant weapons AI linked to pre-council warfare. It had only one protocol left: Vengeance activation. Linya approached the console. Authorization: Cole. Task Force Fury. Reactivate. The machine stirred. You seek vengeance, the AI growled. State your reason. She didn't flinch. You abducted human women. The machine paused. Then, for the first time in 300 years, it replied with a line Linya hadn't heard since her earliest training. Then we answer with fire. That night, aboard the stealth frigate Retribution, Task Force Fury prepared for the final assault. Zhao linked the data feeds. Patel armed the gravitic warheads. VX loaded the Forge's battle protocols into their drop pods. Linya stood before the team, gaze sharp, voice like a blade. This isn't rescue anymore. It's judgment. She stared into the void outside the hangar. Remember what they took. Remember who we are. Vero stepped forward, his armor glowing with the name Marin. Let's show them the reckoning. The Vornaxian facility hung like a parasite above the swirling chaos of Theta 9, a massive gas giant cloaked in electric storms. On the surface, the structure posed as a humanitarian lab, with white hull plating, falsified beacons, and diplomatic shields. Inside, it was a slaughterhouse. Women, human and otherwise, were strapped to bio-tables, drained of blood, spliced with alien DNA, their minds poked and prodded by neural feedback loops. The goal: obedience. The price: humanity. But that night, the heavens cracked again, and this time, it was humanity that fell from the sky. Drop pods screamed into the upper stratosphere. Task Force Fury punched through the storm wall at Mach 12. Anti-air turrets roared to life, but Zhao had already looped their signals. The defenses fired on their own vessels in a catastrophic crossfire. VX-19 landed first, crashing through a bulkhead with seismic force, guns spinning. Terran Justice Protocol, active. Patel followed, dual plasma axes shredding into security droids. Each enemy that fell burned with blue flame. Zhao moved like a ghost through the systems, hacking doors, triggering overloads, scrambling alarms. And Linya walked through the breach with a singular focus, toward the containment vaults, toward her sister. Inside the prison sector, the last of the guards rallied to defend their prize. Linya, flanked by Vero, stormed in. The Dravari captain, Krex Talmor, covered in royal Vornaxian sigils, raised his weapon. You dare assault a sanctioned facility? We are untouchable under Galactic. Linya shot him in the throat mid-sentence. You abducted human women, she said. The fight was short, brutal, final. When it was over, Linya walked through the ruined corridor and found a locked chamber marked Subject 47. Inside, Marin lay unconscious, pale but breathing, cybernetic implants crawling across her skin. Linya fell to her knees, tears slipping past a stoic mask. Hey sis, she whispered. I'm here. Elsewhere on the station, VX and Zhao freed the others. 21 women still alive, though broken, scarred, and changed. Some would never speak again. Some begged to be let go. Zhao sat with each one, holding their hands, repeating the same words. You're safe now. You're human, and they'll never hurt you again. Then came the final move. Linya walked to the core chamber. She linked VX to the station's control grid and broadcast a live feed across every council channel, pirate network, and free world. The screen flickered. There she stood, face bloodied, eyes burning. This is Captain Linya Cole, Task Force Fury. You've seen the reports. Now see the truth. She streamed the footage of the women, of the experiments, of the noble seals on every document. This is what they did. And this is what happens when you do it to us. She stepped aside. Patel armed the reactor. You abducted human women, Linya said to the camera. Congratulations. Now you burn. 3 hours later, the Vernaxian facility detonated in a silent bloom of light, wiped from existence. The shockwave rattled satellites from 5 systems away. The council was forced to convene. The Vernaxian noble family's assets were seized, its leaders arrested or fled into exile. New galactic laws were drafted on forced experimentation, and human sovereignty clauses were reissued with sharp new teeth. But more than politics, something deeper changed. The fear returned. The galaxy remembered what happens when you harm humanity. You don't get trials. You get retribution. A week later, Earth. Linya stood at Marin's side in a hospital garden beneath open sky. Her sister's voice was weak, but her eyes were alive. They didn't break me, she whispered. I know, Linya said, but I nearly did. Marin smiled faintly. Did you find them? Linya nodded once. They won't touch another soul again. Epilogue. Across space, smugglers speak in hushed tones of the Fury team, of the time Earth sent its monsters to hunt other monsters, of the cold voice that said, You abducted human women. Congratulations. You just signed your death warrant. And the galaxy prays it never hears those words again.